Now imagine this. It's around midnight. You're wrapped in a blanket, emotionally attached to someone who replies with a thumbs up emoji. And the YouTube, it suddenly serves you a video titled, They're Obsessed with You. Watch before it's too late. The thumbnail has flames of shocked face, three tarot cards, possibly a wolf. Naturally, you click. Now, 20 minutes later, a stranger on the internet has informed you that your soulmate is awakening, your ex is crying in the shower, and your abundance portal is opening. And the Mercury is personally sabotaging your love life. You feel seen, you feel validated, you feel hope, and then nothing happens. Zilch. You return to the status quo, feeling worse, yet in time, you probably watch a similar video. And that, my dear, is a funny thing, also unfortunate about tarot and all things esoteric. People treat it like a cosmic customer service hotline. Press 1 for love, press 2 for money, press 3 to find out whether Rahul from your school is your twin flame or your ex Priya, now married and settled, still holds the torch for you. Now, somewhere between ancient symbolism and algorithm friendly spirituality, we have managed to turn a profound reflective practice into a spiritual clickbait. Which brings me to the confession that sounds deeply unprofessional. I hate tarot, and maybe you should too. Now, hello, my lovelies, a warm namaste and greetings from Chandra, your friendly neighborhood tarot advisor. Now, here is the thing. I'm about to say something that sounds completely ridiculous. I hate tarot. Yes, you heard me correctly. Someone who has spent 12 years reading cards, someone who has completed over 50,000 readings and counting, someone who spends almost every single day teaching, studying, reading, and talking about tarot is standing here, in fact, sitting and telling you that sometimes I absolutely hate it. Not because of the cards, not because of the symbolism, not because of the wisdom hidden within these 78 little pieces of cardboard. I hate what we have turned it into. And if you're someone who watches a 3 card videos a day, if you check tarot before making every single decision, if you need a card to tell you whether to send a text message, apply for a job, or make yourself a cup of coffee, you should probably hate it too. Because somewhere along the way, tarot stopped being a bridge to the soul and it became a cage to the spirit. Now let's talk about why. Look around. Tarot has become a spiritual fast food. Quick answers, quick predictions, quick dopamine hits. Will he call? When will my soulmate arrive? Will I become rich? What does he think about me? The cards come out and we get the quick fixes, the yes and no's, or a chat GPT template empathy note. And then what? A few days, if not hours later, we are back to looking for another promotional reading. Another confirmation, another sign, another answer, window shopping for your kind of answer. Now we have turned tarot into a search engine for certainty. Type a question, receive an answer, repeat. Rinse, repeat. Except it's not how tarot works. Or at least that's not what it is designed for. Now, the greatest irony is that people come to tarot searching for intuition and immediately abandon their own. The card is speaking, but we are listening to everyone except ourselves. Now, that is what I call the guidebook trap. And trust you me, I have been there. Every tarot reader has. Now, the difference is how long you stay here and if you choose to do. But what is it that if the card isn't talking about and force outside of you? What if it's talking about the story you keep repeating? Now, let's say we pull the devil in the relationship that you won't leave, the fear you won't challenge, the dream you keep postponing, that the chain around your neck isn't always there, put by another person. Sometimes you are holding the lock yourself. And that is much more uncomfortable a conversation. Now, because now the card isn't predicting your future, it is confronting your present. The truth is that the tarot is often the most valuable when it annoys you, when it challenges you, when it exposes something you'd rather not see. The tower isn't there to ruin you, dear my dear. The tower is there because the foundation was already cracked. The death is not there because something terrible is happening. The death arrives because something exhausted and has reached its natural ending. The hermit isn't telling you to disappear forever. The hermit is asking why you are so uncomfortable being alone with your own thoughts. Now, these cards aren't fortune cookies, my dear. They are mirrors, and mirrors are really comfortable. Now, here is something nobody tells you. The obsession with prediction can become a form of avoidance. Think about it. How many people spend months asking, will I get a promotion, instead of improving the skills that they need for it? How many ask, when is love coming, instead of examining the patterns which are sabotaging their existing love and relationship space? How many keep asking the cards what their purpose is while ignoring the opportunities which are sitting right in front of them? Now, sometimes we don't seek answers because we are ready for change. Sometimes we seek answers because we are trying to postpone the action. And tarot can become a very sophisticated hiding place, a spiritual waiting room, a place where we endlessly prepare for the life instead of living it. Now that hurts to hear, I know, but it is true. I know I am being redundant and repetitive, and apologies for that. Yet this is something that needs to be pressed upon. The real war isn't happening in the social media. This isn't happening in between the countries either. It is not about tarot systems, it is not about decks, it is not about readers. It is about the real war within you and me. The battle between certainty and courage. Because certainty feels safe, but courage requires momentum. Courage requires movement. And tarot at its best does not give certainty. It develops courage. It gives us a roadmap. It teaches observation, self awareness, reflection, personal responsibility, and yes, sometimes accountability too. The one that you shudder to shoulder. The kind that makes you close the cards and sit quietly and say, right, now I know what I need to do. So, do I hate tarot? No, not really. I hate the dependency. I hate the shortcuts. I hate seeing a tool capable of profound transformation reduced to endless reassurance, because tarot deserves better. And honestly, so do you. You're not here to become a spectator in your own life. You are here to participate in it, to build it, to shape it, to create it. The cards can illuminate the path, but they cannot walk it for you. Now, if this perspective resonates with you, I invite you to explore my latest offerings. You'll find the link nearby. It is not about predicting the future, it is about engaging with your life more consciously. And if you're ready to move beyond the quick answers and into meaningful transformation, you know where to find me. And remember, one important thread. The most important thread in the tarot system isn't the fool. It isn't the magician or the world. It's the one card no publisher ever printed. And that, my dear, is you. The living, breathing, stubborn, complicated, human, fascinating being who are being penny wise and pound foolish with these 78 doors and windows to your subconscious. Now stop waiting for permission. The universal wisdom is asleep within you. You are the thing that makes it speak. So the real question is, are we attuned to that frequency? Drop in the comment in the chat box. I'll be willing to listen. I'll see you in the next video. Love and light, Chandra. Mwah.